is Hannah Sims, and today I will be giving a presentation on the roles and responsibilities of a midwife. I will begin by discussing the recent changes and impacts on the roles and responsibilities of a midwife. I will then move on to discuss these in meeting the physical, social and psychological needs of a woman and her family. I will then discuss the roles of the Nursing and Midwifery Council in relation to midwifery practice, analysing the implications of the Code on Midwifery Practice. Then later in the presentation, I will provide an explanation of the need for effective communication in the multidisciplinary healthcare setting, and finally, an evaluation of the effectiveness of the multidisciplinary approach. Before 1881, midwives were controlled and allocated by the Church. They were only legally allowed to practice if they received a licence from the bishop, alongside testimonials from other medical practitioners or church ministers with regard to their capabilities. Midwives mainly came from working class backgrounds, and their education on pregnancy and labour would have been experience-based and word of mouth passed down through the generations. In 1881, Miss Louise Hubbard and 7 other midwives pushed successfully for the Midwives Institute to make it illegal for anyone to practice midwifery without being registered and adequately trained. This was followed in 1902 by the Midwifery Act, which created the Central Midwives Board, ensuring midwives had undergone at least 1 year's training before registering. This was then replaced in 1983 by the UK Central Council for Nursing, Midwifery and Health Visitors. Midwives are in constant receipt of changing protocols for patient safety and care. One of the influential reports was the Peel Report in 1970, which advised all mothers that the safest place to have their babies was in a hospital. 2 of the more recent changes to impact their roles were in 2016 and 2017. In February 2016, the NHS released a Better Birth document, which was put into action over a 5-year period. This outlines 7 ways to improve the quality of care a mother and their families received. The first is personal care of a woman who has the power to personalise their journey with a midwife or other healthcare professionals, giving them all the most up-to-date information and advice. Second, for continuity of care, a mother should have a small team of 4 to 6 healthcare professionals she sees regularly through her pregnancy, creating familiarity and building trust for safer care. Number 3, all healthcare professionals work in unison to ensure fast referrals and quicker treatment for all patients, ensuring all mistakes are investigated, rectified and learned from going forwards. Safety of care also includes that data should be regularly checked and updated to reflect the patient's care and performance of consistent analysis and improvement. Number 4, better postnatal and perinatal mental care research into the consistent underfunding of both postnatal and perinatal mental health care is of utmost importance to ensure all funds are directed in the right areas for the mother and her family. Number 5, multi-professional working ensures all healthcare professionals receive multi-professional training, creating a deeper understanding and respect for one another, as healthcare professionals also show the correct protocols on which healthcare professionals need to be contacted within an emergency. Number 6, working across all boundaries, creating community maternity hubs to ensure equality over the geographical areas, creating and improving experience for all and enabling a more extensive database for comparison and improvement. Number 7, a fair and adequate payment system to create an incentivised system with clear rewards for the high level of care should be implemented. The funding should follow the mother throughout her pregnancy, then for her and a baby postpartum, ensuring those in rural areas are gaining the correct funding for their care and areas that need better funding to find this support. In 2017, the Saving Babies protocols were put into place to reduce infant mortality in the UK further. They are as follows: reducing smoking in pregnancy. A midwife will take a carbon monoxide test on the booking-in appointment to make the appropriate referrals when necessary. Midwives need the time during these appointments to do these tests to ensure the baby's safety. Risk assessment and surveillance for fetal growth restrictions. An algorithm has been created to ease the decision making to classify if a woman and her baby are at risk. If a woman is classified as being high risk, an ultrasound following the new algorithm will be done repeatedly throughout the pregnancy. With the results of the new algorithm and correct consistent data, a clearer picture can be developed into helping and prevention. A risk assessment will be taken on the first meeting of the mother, in where the midwife will ask questions, assessing the psychosocial hazards and the psychological stresses of the mother, raising awareness of reduced fetal movement. An information leaflet will be given out to a woman in the 24th week of her pregnancy, with up-to-date information and guidelines on what is classed as reduced movements and when it is necessary to inform a midwife. The midwife will then have the necessary protocols in place to follow and act accordingly. Effective fetal monitoring during labour. A midwife will go through the necessary training to have the total clarity over the cardiographs to monitor the fetal heart rate, and have this training recorded to show that it has been done every year. There will be a system in place for a second opinion and a protocol in place for whom to turn to if there are any concerns, thus ensuring that no mistakes are made. Midwives will have many opportunities to meet a woman and her family's needs. The International Confederation of Midwives states that midwives develop a partnership with individual women, which they share relevant information that leads to informed decision making. Consent to an evolving care plan and acceptance of responsibility for the outcomes of their choices. The first point, a mother's physical needs will be met and checked will be between 8 and 12 weeks in her pregnancy at the booking-in appointment, which will include the risk assessment. Here, a mother will be asked general questions regarding her physical health, her weight will be taken, and her body mass index will be calculated. A BMI over 30 would mean a mother is at high risk of preeclampsia and high blood pressure. A midwife will then offer guidance and referrals to a dietitian to reduce this risk. Next, a midwife must ascertain a mother's previous obstetric history, including any previous pregnancies with her outcomes. If she has experienced gestational diabetes, postpartum depression, and any postpartum hemorrhage. Following this, the midwife will go over any medical history the woman may have, including any genetic conditions from the maternal and paternal side. This will give the midwife clarity on the entire physical background of the mother and her family, impacting what options and advice a mother is offered going forwards. During her subsequent antenatal appointments, the midwife will continue to meet the mother's physical needs by measuring her bump growth and ensuring all are well with the blood and urine testing, keeping the mother and her family informed as to why these tests are being carried out and their results. Another example of a midwife impacting a mother and her family's physical health needs during pregnancy is during the intrapartum care. This will include giving all advice on pain relief and helping her through labour. This will be done by talking to her prior to the birth about all of her options, considering all of her personal beliefs and wishes. For example, showing the different birthing options, home birthing, bath home birth, or hospital delivery rooms. The midwife will also advise on which pain relief options are available to the woman: paracetamol, Entonox, Pethidine, epidural, or a TENS machine. All this advice will help empower the woman to make a birth plan specific to her needs through the most intense and intimate time of her life. After the baby is born, the midwife will continue to meet the mother's physical needs, from helping with breastfeeding and weighing the baby to the 6-week checkup, ensuring the mother's stitches from either a caesarean section or a tear on her perineum are healing correctly. The midwife at the 6-week check will also ensure that the mother is putting her physical needs at the same level as her baby's. This part is done by asking the mother if she's eating, sleeping, and feeling energized. This can impact the mother hugely, as the midwife can offer care and advice on how to keep on top of her own needs as well as the baby's. The midwife will also continue to do routine checkup to examine the woman's uterus, lochia, perineum, and breasts. again reassuring the mother and making the necessary referrals when needed. When the midwife is satisfied with the mother and her baby's physical health, she will then hand over to the health visitor. Psychological needs of the mother and her family are also majorly important. A midwife will impact on these in the booking an appointment by creating a welcoming and safe environment, inviting a woman and her family to share any history of mental illness or any worries that she may have. This will impact the journey the woman takes with the midwife and the tailored support that she will receive. Towards the end of the pregnancy, a woman will be offered to make a birth plan with the midwife. This is not compulsory but can help the mother feel at ease and in control of an incredibly intimidating situation, therefore impacting positively on her mental well-being. The midwife will also explain every stage from early labour signs to active labour, helping the mother have a complete understanding of what is to come, what to do when the signs begin, and including whom to contact. This offers the mother total emotional reassurance. A midwife will also preempt the overwhelming reality of when the baby has finally arrived by offering advice on what to pack in the hospital bag and what to have at home to make the transition from hospital to home life easier. Finally, to meet the mother and family's social needs, a midwife will offer antenatal and postnatal baby classes. This not only offers social output for the mother where she can meet others going through the same journey, but offers guidance to the mother and her family on what to expect. Other forms of support groups will be offered, such as groups on social media like Facebook or online websites like Baby Centre. This will not only impact the mother and her family socially, but will also be a great help in meeting the mother's psychological needs. I will now go on to talk about the Midwifery Council. The Nursing Midwifery Council is a registered charity that has a log of all the midwives and nurses in the UK. They set and review all education, training, regulating all conduct and performance, and investigating all allegations of any complaints and discrepancies brought forward against a midwife or a nurse. The NMC was put into place to protect the public and all of its registered nurses and midwives. The NMC has three major roles in relation to midwifery. Education. The NMC sets all standard guidance and requirements, helping to shape the way students are taught. This is done by the NMC approving all education institutes and courses and logging them all on the independent database. The NMC also approves all placements made for nurses and midwives. Once they have completed their course, they will need to register themselves in the NMC database. Midwives and nurses will need to re-register every 3 years, ensuring all their training and knowledge are up to date. The next is conduct and performance of midwives and nurses. The NMC regulates this by having clear-cut rules. The NMC states that a midwife must meet the essential skills and competencies under her training requirements. A midwife must ensure the mother and baby's needs are the priority and kept safe, recognising all the physical and emotional needs of the mother and her family. A midwife must ensure that she is only administrating the correct medicines that she has been trained to use and only providing care to a mother that they have been fully trained to do. Furthermore, fitness to practice, stating all midwives must uphold their position within society, always helping to protect the health and safety of the public. A midwife must encourage positive reliance on the profession and always uphold professional standards. I will now move on to talk about the implications of the Code on midwifery practice and the role of a midwife. The Code was made effective on the 31st of March 2015 and contained the professional standards that a midwife and nurse must follow. It is split into 4 sections: prioritise people, practice efficiently, preserve safety, and promote professionalism and trust. The prioritisation of people when applied to midwifery ensures all mothers and their family are treated with the utmost respect and their rights are upheld. It also encourages midwives to recognise and challenge any discriminatory behaviour. Midwives should ensure people's physical, social and psychological needs are assessed and then progress to the right services. Practicing efficiently is defined as a midwife practicing in line with the most recent research and sharing their understanding of up-to-date knowledge with a colleague. A midwife must work cooperatively with other health services and always keep clear, accurate records of interactions. The code also states that a midwife should be held accountable for all and any delegated tasks. Public safety refers to the duty of candour, and all the healthcare professionals agree to this in an agreement to take responsibility for all wrongdoings and always help to the best of their training. In an emergency, always act fast when feeling that someone is vulnerable and at risk, and advise and or prescribe medicines to the patient to the best of their training. Promoting professionalism is defined by the midwife, ensuring she represents the role within society. They are fulfilling their role by ensuring that they are registered on the NMC register and providing leadership to ensure their patients are gaining the best care within the healthcare system. I will now talk about the need for effective communication in the multidisciplinary healthcare setting and the effectiveness of the multidisciplinary approach. Multidisciplinary care is described as a group of healthcare professionals with independent skills and knowledge coming together to reach a common goal. An example of this may be a mother who has come in for a booking appointment and told the midwife that she is a smoker. The midwife will then make the appropriate referrals, for example, the NHS Smoke Free, to help the mother quit, alongside informing her GP. With these three services working together in unison, the mother has the best chance of support, guidance and help with quitting. The need for effective communication in the multidisciplinary healthcare is that it allows for a patient to receive help from a multitude of healthcare professionals and allows those healthcare professionals to expand their knowledge in different subject areas. Effective communication allows for faster, well-rounded and productive care while offering different patient opinions and allowing them to make informed, educated decisions. I will now start this evaluation by looking at some advantages and disadvantages of the multidisciplinary approach for both the healthcare professional and the patient. For the healthcare professional, it allows them to have a window into another sector of health, allowing for partnership and mutual respect for each other's work. This will then allow for informed opinions and create a cross-vitalisation of ideas to be put forward to achieve an end goal for the patient. Another positive would be allowing for a fully holistic approach, benefiting the patient with the different healthcare professionals looking at one person's care. It allows for different avenues to be approached, ensuring a well-rounded, complete level of care and continuity of care for the patient. A multidisciplinary team can mean a broader range of access to health information, giving them the best chance of making informed decisions. Also, where the team is already formed, it means they will be waiting less time for a diagnosis and treatment due to the whole team already being in communication. The negatives of a multidisciplinary team mainly fall either under human nature or communication. If there is a healthcare professional that has been in the field for more than an extended period of time than another member of the team, they may feel less likely to listen or take advice, becoming dominant in the group. This causing a stall in the patient's care. A larger team can also cause personality clashes, where some voices may be less heard over the more dominant figures, leading to frustration and confusion, subsequently leading to even longer patient waiting times. If the team is large, there can be a clash of schedules in getting the team together to discuss this shared goal. All communication between the patient and the individual healthcare professional needs to be documented, and therefore, if one key point of communication has not been recorded down, it can again lengthen the process of reaching this goal. A final negative that will affect the multidisciplinary team is availability of resources. The NHS is overloaded with all healthcare referrals to all services. Therefore, for the team to be effective, all healthcare professionals need to be available. When looking at this in regard to a pregnant mother, there is a time limit on her care, so long waiting times can have a damaging effect on her pregnancy. Overall, the effectiveness of the multidisciplinary approach is all based on the availability of constructive communication, time management, and availability of resources. If all are aligned and working in constructive unison, then the patient will receive the top level of educated, well-rounded care. Thank you for listening to my presentation today.